Good afternoon, everyone. So welcome. Okay, and joining the Boston Urban Forum. Okay, so this September Forum. So as you can see here, the theme of our September Forum is about development and the future of the clean energy in Massachusetts. So this event is organized by the Boston Urban Forum, and also is in partnership with MassCEC, Mass Clean Energy Center. And also, the event actually this month is also sponsored by APAPA, Asian Pacific Islander American Public Affairs Association, and also BARTV, okay, the Boston Asian Radio TV, BARTV. At the very beginning, okay, just would like to give you a really brief introduction, okay, description about the Boston Urban Forum. So Boston Urban Forum is dedicated to nurturing community cohesion and development, cultivating a vibrant, diverse, and inclusive environment. So our goal is to enrich dialogue surrounding present issues and topics of interest, okay, to the city and to our community, including sustainable energy, okay, transportation, okay, education, okay, healthcare, and almost all actually these topics of interest. The co-founder's information here, okay, Gary Yu is our founder, and he is the he's also the MAAPI commissioner, and also the president of NECA, New England Chinese American Alliance, UCA, Massachusetts chapter, APAPA Boston chapter. And me myself, as one of the co-founders, okay, I'm the president, I'm the professor at Northeastern University, and also I'm the founder and the president of Plug Energies. And also on the right, you can see, okay, some of our flyers for the former events. Okay, former events. So in the past session, we organized the panel discussions about the sustainable development in the city of Boston and also in our community. And also, we organized a discussion and also sharing our history and your story, okay, in the celebration of the National Immigrant Heritage Month. And also, we explore the opportunity and interaction of different type of arts, explore interaction of arts and the AI technology, and also, the forum today. Okay, next, okay, just a really brief introduction about myself. Okay, so I'm Zheng. I'm a associate professor at the Northeastern University and director of a nano-energy lab at the Northeastern University. And also I'm an ASME fellow, and also I'm the faculty fellow of the Northeastern Center for Emerging Markets, and also I'm the NASA faculty fellow as well. And this is all my education background, actually, the research grants that I received and some of the awards and honors I received in the past few years. Okay, so today, okay, we are so honored, okay, to invite two VIP guests. Okay. Leslie Nash from MassCEC and David Buhar from Northeastern University Provost Office. So first, I would like to invite our first VIP speaker to deliver opening remarks. So before that, please allow me to give a brief introduction about himself. So Leslie Nash is a program director for technology to market programming at MassCEC, and a state economic development agency dedicated to accelerating growth of clean energy and the climate tech sector across the Commonwealth. A former environmental educator, Leslie is passionate about climate, which is amplified by her undergraduate degree in environmental science and policy, and her MBA in energy and accessibility. So he has been at MassCEC for 9 years, and working on a variety of initiatives focused on accelerating the climate tech innovation economy in our state. Welcome, Mr. Leslie.
Appreciate it. All right. Well, thank you everyone for having me, and thank you to he and the Boston Urban Forum for inviting us all here today, and especially for allowing me to say hi to everyone officially. So I'll kind of skip the introduction since you did such a great job. Thank you for that. For those of you who might be less familiar with MassCEC, I'll just talk quickly about what we do. So as noted, we are a state-based climate and clean energy economic development agency. So we are really dual purposed. One, we focus on accelerating the climate innovations that are needed to help the state decarbonize and meet its net zero goals. And then on the other side, we're also an economic development agency. So we're equally focused on making sure that this climate transition happens equitably in a way that grows jobs and supports the local economy as a whole here in the Commonwealth. So that's a little bit about us. Before I even really continue and giving remarks, I do want to take a moment to just pause and give you all a round of applause. The innovators in the room, you're the reason we're all gathered here today. And I'm just so honored to be able to meet you all and to be up in front of you right now. So I want to give you all a big round of applause and say congratulations for how far you've come. So thank you. So my team at MassCEC, as set up here, Tech to Market, we oversee 5 different grant programs. Some of you are direct beneficiaries of one or more one of those. They're all aimed towards accelerating early stage climate technologies and supporting our economy here in Massachusetts. In my 9-year tenure, I've worked with over 200 startups and researchers, and I cannot tell you how much it means to me year over year, round over round, to be able to meet and be inspired by all of you and learn from all of you. So the Commonwealth of Massachusetts has committed to achieving net zero goals by 2050. Cultivating innovative technologies and approaches to decarbonization today is what will help us as a state achieve these ambitious but very necessary goals in the future. We'll do that at a faster pace and a lower cost because of innovations like yours. 34% of the emissions reductions needed to reach global net zero targets will come from technology that is not yet on the market. That's 34%. That's a lot, and it is coming from your technologies. Most of the reductions in CO2 emissions come from technologies already on the market today. But in 2050, almost half those reductions will come from those that are currently in prototype or demonstration phase. So just want to let that sink in. That's from the IEA, and I really just love that information because it shows you that the innovation wheel needs to keep spinning because we just don't have the solutions yet today. So all of you in this room are in prime position to help us offset that 34% by further developing your solutions. We have such important ideas in this room, and I'm so happy that MassCEC was able to support you in your commercialization journey. From leveraging carbon capture to produce industrial chemicals, to removing contaminants in wastewater, to retrofitting freight trucks, and using passive cooling technologies on our buildings' rooftops, you are all doing such valuable work to help us decarbonize our state and hopefully our globe. These grants that MassCEC was honored to be able to contribute are just the beginning of what I hope is a long-standing relationship between MassCEC, our partner Mass Ventures, who we work with on several of these programs, the state of Massachusetts, and each of you. Whether you're an academic researcher, a student, a startup, or just somebody who wants to be in the room, this is the beginning of your and our journey together. There have been many innovators that have gone through these grant programs over the years. Catalyst and Dices, Innovate Mass, Amplify Mass, our investments program, everything in between. And they've gone on to grow and succeed. For example, some of you may be familiar with an MIT spin-out called Via Separations. The CEO is named Shreya Dave, and they went through all of these grant programs, and additionally also got internship support from our organization, where we'll pay for interns at your company. Today, they have 38 employees, and they've raised over $44 million in capital, and that's only been over the last few years. So that, I hope, is a pathway that you each have the opportunity to repeat with support from the state. We are really looking forward to continuing on this journey with all of you, and I personally hope that you'll all hope that I have an open door, reach out to me, and thank you so much for all of your hard work in solving our climate challenges. Thank you.
So thank you, Leslie, for your wonderful opening remarks. So actually, we have a chance together today. It's because of the sponsorship of MassCEC. So all the invited speakers today are all from the MassCEC sponsorship through the programs. Okay, so thanks, MassCEC. Thanks, Leslie. Okay, our next VIP speaker is David Buhar. Yes. So please allow me to introduce you briefly. So David Buhar actually serves as Senior Advisor for Sustainability within Northeastern's Office of Provost, with a focus on the intersection of sustainability and innovation. So this follows 10 years as the Director of Hong Kong University of Science, Technology, Sustainability, Net Zero Office, overseeing the implementation of the University Sustainability Master Plan, the Sustainable Smart Campus as a Living Lab initiative, and the Life Cycle Lab. So Buhar came to HKUST after 8 years as the founding director of the Office of Sustainability at the Johns Hopkins University, and 6 years as a senior project director for the public interest group, Consumer Energy Council of America. So Buhar actually holds a master's degree in international affairs from the School of Law and Diplomacy at Tufts University. Thanks and welcome, David, for giving us opening remarks. So I guess you might have to use my laptop as well.
That's okay. I can down notes here.
But I think the one that we can just transfer your files on Drive.
That's okay. Why don't I just read off my notes?
This may not take long. Actually, just on Drive.
Okay. Sure. Well, thank you everybody. It's a real pleasure to be here. So this is a little bit of my background. The thing that I really wanted to point out is this thing right here called the Sustainable Smart Campus as a Living Lab. This was kind of unique at universities. A lot of universities try to get their students more involved. They encourage entrepreneurship. But the program that I was able to put together, I had a president who was very firmly supportive of this and gave a lot of funding. He felt like we really needed to get our faculty members, good smart people doing good smart things, to be more involved in working on the campus itself, right? Most of the work is happening in a laboratory, and then the campus is being operated by a whole other group of people. And what a missed opportunity to try that we're not trying harder to get the two of them together. So as I just arrived here in Boston, actually I'm coming back because I went to Tufts many years ago. That's one of my highest priorities, is really to find that intersection between innovation and sustainability. What are the kinds of things? And so this PEC forum is absolutely wonderful for me. So I wanted to.
I have to try to find some myself. I'll put your phone drive.
Oh, okay. It's okay. I just have a couple of.
I'm sorry.
I just have a couple of notes, and I can explain those.
Let's get back to the. So that's it. Beautiful things. It seems like I lost my.
Okay, I think I now. I lost my notes. That's okay. There's just a couple of things that I wanted to share. Leslie, you mentioned. I think you said 34% of the work that we're going to be doing, innovations that we are going to be employing by 2050, have not been invented yet. I think that's actually quite low, right? So although I don't know for a fact, I learned the other day that 72% of all statistics are made up right on the spot. So I'm going to make up a statistic right now. I think that your number is low. And
It's the IEA's number, not my number.
I had a couple of slides. The only reason I brought those slides is because I really wanted to demonstrate why predicting the future is so hard and why we constantly underpredict, right? And that's why I feel so confident. If you look at the projections, for example, for how much renewable energy we will produce or we would have produced, they are always at the very low end. We always outperform. We always innovate a lot more than we think that we can. We have these mental blocks that make us feel like things will continue to happen the same way over time. And this is why this forum is so important, because we're really focusing on the future. This is right in the title. We know that this is the case. One of the slides I had was a picture or a graph of the top 10 highest capitalized companies in the world. And 6 out of those 10 had not even been invented 30 years ago, right? So think of Tesla, think of Tencent, think of Alibaba, think of, Amazon I think had been, but it was just a baby at that time. NVIDIA, these are all brand new companies. And there was only one that was in that list of top 10, which was Saudi Aramco, which I guess will be around forever. But it was so interesting to see because it was such an outlier in this list of really brand new babies. These are all babies. if these are all kind of disruptive technologies that have come in the last 30 years, we know for a fact that this is going to be the case in the next 30 years as well. So this is why it's very exciting for me to be thinking about how do we really build on that innovation. So I just wanted to frame just a couple of things just to set the stage, and I can't wait to hear all of the great work that's going on right now. But here's a couple of things that I would like for everybody just to think about in terms of what is the technology that's coming about, and why should we really be focusing on what does this look like, let's say 10 years from now, which is very difficult for us. Well, number one, we know that today we live in a regulated economy that does not price in carbon, right? That's going to change. We know it's going to change. We should just make sure that we start to kind of build that in. And I think that we're starting to see that in different areas. And so, of course, that really will create a whole groundswell for the kinds of funding that really needs naturally through economic systems to be able to go into these kinds of technologies. That's number one. Number two, AI. We're all talking about AI right now. And so the one thing that I think is so interesting about artificial intelligence, machine learning, large language models, all of this whole package, is that if you talk to experts in this field, the first thing that they will tell you is that, yes, it's great, it's interesting, ChatGPT is so, it's kind of a toy, it's fun, we can find all these things to do. But we are just at the very beginning stage. In fact, the analogy was, if you're looking at artificial intelligence, if that was a football game, we would still be in the pregame warm-up. Like, we have not even gotten to the part where we're starting to play. So that gives us a sense of, this is something that's really going to be building over the next decade. We want to be able to take advantage of it immediately, but we're really going to start seeing some of the great influences at that point. Okay, so that's number two. Number three is that just in general, we have a very difficult time thinking about the future. There are some interesting studies where researchers will ask a whole group of people, what do you think, in your lifetime, have you seen a lot of changes, and everybody says, yes, of course. And this is from very young people who were 10 years old. They still remember, even 5 years ago, all the games that they're playing have changed, leading up to, I think, the oldest person in the study was like 78 years old. Of course, it's been tremendous changes. I'm reminded of this when my kids were young. My son used to ask me, Dad, what was your favorite game you played on your phone when you were my age? I have to kind of explain, the world has changed a lot since then. Well, so there's a reason why, so to complete the story about the research says that everybody recognizes there's change, but when you ask the question, what do you think will happen in the next 10 years? Almost every single person in the study said, I think it's probably going to be about the same. Now, why is that? That's an interesting research question. And the conclusion is that because things are happening so fast, our brains play a little trick on us. Right? If I was anticipating this rapid change to my life, to society, then it would be overwhelming. The anxiety would build up to the point. So our brains kind of calm us down and basically say, don't worry about it. It's okay. Things are going to look a lot like they are today. But we know that that's not the case. So we have to continue to reinforce that with ourselves. Okay, I think I had one more point that I forget it now, but that's okay. I think really the key message that I really wanted to get off in just these couple of minutes is that we are excited about all of this innovation, but I think I wanted to remind everyone that we shouldn't always be looking to solve the problems of today, but we should really be looking to solve the problems of tomorrow. And I think that if we keep that in mind, we'll be much better off. All right, thanks everybody. I look forward to this.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, actually, I didn't introduce you. Let me introduce you first. What? Okay, so I may not actually share my screen because I don't want to avoid the trouble. Okay, so I'm going to read this one. Also, our next speaker, will be Mayor. He's the founder of Suryatech, a minority-owned and led clean tech startup working on solving EV charging problems with innovation. Suryatech's vision is to provide the most eco-friendly EV charging solution by harvesting solar energy power. Mayor currently has 2 utility patents and 1 patent national in the pending stage with the USPTO. Mayor has a master's degree in solar engineering and a bachelor degree in mechanical engineering, and has over a decade of industry experience in solar battery energy storage technology and EV infrastructure. He has worked and lead engineer manager at multinational organizations like Anno Green Power, EDP Renewables, and some others. Mayor has served as an adjunct faculty at the University of Massachusetts Law in Mechanical Engineering Department. Mayor is also the vice president of the Recharge Club of Boston, yes, and believes in giving back to society and encouraging youngsters to get into the climate tech industry. Well, thanks. So please start. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, E, for a great introduction, and nice to see you all here. I'm the founder and CEO of Suryatech. We are working on revolutionizing charging with innovation. Suryatech is a minority-owned and led clean tech startup. We have developed first of its kind smart solar-powered battery-integrated EV charger for commercial public use. And right now we have 2 utility patents on our commercial technology and 1 pending patent on the new residential EV charger technology which we are working on. So here is the product overview. The one you see on the left is our commercial public EV charger, and it has battery integrated. Thanks a lot to Leslie, MassCEC, and Innovate Mass grant to help us to do this project. So this is not the actual installed project, but we are installing a battery integrated solar canopy, solar powered EV charger at a minority location at Mobile gas station in the city of Lowell. And we just received the permits, and we are working in the project is in the progress right now. So thanks a lot to MassCEC. The second technology which we have is the residential EV charger, and I can explain you more on that. So the project impact which we created because of our commercial publicly accessible EV charger in the city of Lowell is that this will be the first of its type battery integrated solar powered EV charger. So during the daytime it takes power from solar, stores it into the battery and charges an EV, and at night it automatically switches back to the grid power. So that's the one thing. And just because of this one project in the city of Lowell, we are able to save at almost 1.248 metric tons of carbon emission, which is equivalent to 104 trees each year. And we are creating public awareness in the city of Lowell, and we are committed to hiring at least 2 interns, again by the support of MassCEC from UMass Lowell, and we are focusing to get someone from the BIPOC backgrounds into the EV charging industry or renewable industry. So the second the product which we have is the residential EV charger. So Suryatech was also, this year we were a part of Clean Tech Open Accelerator, and while we were in the accelerator program, we did a lot of customer discovery, figured out what our actual market is, and we realized that there are also a lot of EV owners who are charging their EVs at home, living in a single family residences, and we figured out that what are the problems which they are having. So it was like high cost of electrical panel upgrades for level 2 charging up to 240 volts, frequent power outages, and then there was tremendous load on grid at peak demand hours. So the new innovation which we are working on for the residential EV owners basically solve all these problems. So right now in the state of Massachusetts, if you have to install a level 2 charger, you have to upgrade your regular 110 volt plug to 240 volt plug, and that costs around $1,500 to $2,000. You have to spend that on electrical contractors. We have solved that problem. Our portable patented smart EV coupler technology goes in there, which basically converts the regular 120 volt to 240 volt and charges your car up to 80% in less than 3 hours. Also, we are integrating ultra wide bandgap semiconductor technology in this portable device, which allows you to charge your car at faster speed. This is a suitcase kind of a device which is portable, so you can plug it in a regular port and you can charge your car. You can, when you are not, if you are living in you're renting an apartment, or if you are going to move, you can carry it with you, and it's not a fixed device. And there are no permits required. We are also working on integrating solar power, which basically will allow you to charge your car anywhere for free. So the testing and everything is still going on this one. The current addressable market for us is 4.3 million EV owners, but our niche market is those EV owners who are living in urban areas who don't have direct access to charging their EVs and don't have direct access to public chargers and have to use something like what we have as a solar powered EV charger. Our go-to-market plan right now for the residential EV charger is we just got accepted into the Stage 2 Accelerator program by Berkshire Innovation Center, where we will be doing our testing and technology validation. We are also working with Intertech to get the UL certification and Energy Star rating. We are thinking of doing soft launch by April 2025, and then we are looking for partnerships with utilities, EV owners, and then also to get some more support from MassCEC. This is our team. I'm the founder and CEO. Anum is the co-founder. She's basically leading our commercialization and operations side of the business. And these are our partnerships. So we were a part of Clean Tech Open Accelerator, just got into Berkshire Innovation Center, a lot of support from MassCEC, and we are also with Emerald Cities Collaborative and Recharge Massachusetts and Founders Network. Thank you.
So David, I received the email. So the file is being downloaded.
Cool.
Okay, good.
Stop sharing. It's a PDF this time, so it's much more reasonably sized.
But thanks for your ideas. That's really helpful. Yes, good. Really great.
We made it.
Thanks.
We did it. Thank you all for having me. I greatly appreciate it. Looking forward to this. Let me make sure I got the controls here. Oh yeah, that one's going to take a minute. Cool. We are Helix Carbon, and we believe that the industries that manufacture the world around us are in a crisis. We look at industries like plastic, steel, cement, paints. These are the industries that form the backbone of our modern infrastructure. But they're all based on carbon, and they get that carbon from fossil fuels. So we're faced with a fundamental challenge. And that challenge is, how do you decarbonize critical industries that absolutely have that carbon in them? Today, the idea is carbon capture. The carbon capture is very expensive. It's energy intense. It takes up a lot of space. And worst of all, the end of the carbon capture process, what you're left with is a stream of pure carbon dioxide, which leaves you essentially exactly where you started. And it's so useless that today, if you're familiar with carbon capture, it's mostly just pumped underground. It's useless. But at Helix Carbon, that's what we want to solve. So we developed a new catalyst, a catalytic anchoring system for electrolysis, that can lower the energy barriers around turning that useless carbon dioxide into valuable industrial chemicals, and we can do it at a price point that's competitive with how fossil fuels are doing it today. The business case for this is simple. The industry norm of selling industrial chemicals by the ton, but instead of generating them off-site using fossil fuels, we want to generate them on-site. And instead of creating carbon dioxide, we want to use it. Because at Helix Carbon, unlike other carbon utilization sources, we don't need a pure stream of carbon dioxide. We can take waste streams right off the stack into our system and react the carbon dioxide right out. What comes out is chemically identical to what's already being used at these facilities today. So we have a small footprint and a lower cost because we don't need pre-carbon capture, we don't need pre-separation, and we don't need pre-purification. We are a drop-in solution to these industries that are critical and desperately need a solution today. Should have said that on this slide. The first product that we'd like to make is syngas, which is a mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen. And it's a $60 billion market, but it's not the only thing that we can make. We've proven in the lab that we can also go direct from carbon dioxide to these other high-value, highly sought-after hydrocarbons. Chief among them, ethylene, which is the primary input to plastics production today. And these are really, really big numbers and really big goals, but we've got a great team to get this done. Evan is our tech-focused CEO. He couldn't be here today, unfortunately, but he's got a background in inorganic catalysis from both Yale and MIT. My background, well, you gave a great intro there. I'm a former Army Apache helicopter pilot and an operational leader. Dr. Ariel First is a professor at MIT, and she's the inventor of the technology and experienced startup founder. And we've received a significant amount of traction, with over 435,000 in non-dilutive capital. Thank you very much, Leslie. Really appreciate it. We'll be coming back to you for Amplify. But that's going to a good spot because we've already secured our first pilot, which we publicly announced on Friday right here in Chelsea, Mass. At American Ag Energy. We'll be doing carbon capture and conversion for a pyrolysis plant there, American Ag Energy. But the next steps are what's really important, and that's why we're looking to you in the audience. If you're an innovative company, or for those online who have a need to be on the cutting edge of climate solutions, please reach out. There are multiple ways we could partner. Pilots, we're also willing to do some joint developments, and we're a great partner on grants. Co-writing them, it's making that work. If you're interested, or you want to make a difference in the fight against carbon dioxide, please scan the QR code. It'll take you right to our contact sheet. Thank you.
Sharing. Okay, so one more thing. Okay, second. Okay, for the QR code. Okay, good job. Let's see who will be the next speaker.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Yi, for that introduction. And wanted to thank you, Dr. Zheng, and the Boston Urban Forum for inviting us out, and also giving me a job as the founder of our company. It was pretty cool. So not only do I get to present in front of all of you today, but I get to make some money doing it. So it's a good deal. So Planck Energies was founded in 2021 with the goal of bringing green technologies out of the lab and into the real world where they can have a real impact. Far too often we develop really cool things that just die in the lab because they don't get out. So the goal and the foresight of Planck Energies was to really get those things out there and create a pathway where we can do those where they're not always is, particularly in clean energy. So here's a little bit of a timeline for us. We're still in the R&D phase, and we're hoping to get to market by late 2025 or early 2026 with our passive cooling paint that I will talk about. First of all, though, the problem. We spend way too much on air conditioning. Now, nearly 50 billion in the US, and if your guys' energy bills from Eversource are as large as mine this summer, then you can imagine why this is the case. We're also expecting that these costs are only going to grow with the advent of AI and big data computing centers. We are going to need a lot more cooling power, and that's going to contribute to a lot more carbon pollution. So we need a better solution. At Planck Energies, we think we have that solution. So we are developing a passive radiative cooling paint, basically taking advantage of high solar reflectance to cool buildings before they get hot, keeping them from heating up with our cooling material that's super reflective and also very emissive. So not only are we reflecting most of the incident sunlight, but we're emitting and pulling heat from the building and radiating that selectively through the atmosphere into space. So it's keeping our buildings cool without warming our atmosphere. We're expecting huge savings, not only on the monetary side from this, but also with saving our carbon footprint, reducing the amount of CO2 emissions. We think there's a minimum of 15% CO2 reduction, but based on the climate and where we're installing this paint, it could be much, much more. We can do this through a novel material called hydroxyapatite. It's eco-friendly and biocompatible, so it won't harm the planet to create it, or at the end of life, it's also totally clean and can be absorbed back into the environment. Thankfully, it is also very reflective, it's very white, and highly emissive, so it fits the bill perfectly as a pigment or an additive for a cooling paint. You can see here some of the, seeing it at the nano and micro scale, and then an early product that we were testing, this meta paper right in the center. This summer, we reached a huge milestone. We put our additive, the hydroxyapatite, into a paint for the first time. And we were also actually able to test it on 2 small sheds right here in Massachusetts with some promising results showing that we can keep temperatures internal to the shed lower than a commercial white paint that you buy off the shelf. So not only is this going to be a huge benefit to the developed world where we have huge AC costs and we can offset it, but it has the potential to be life-saving for the developing world, especially in hot environments, where there could be very limited access to electricity and air conditioning because of that. So in places like Puerto Rico, where they were dealing with the impacts of Maria for nearly a year, losing power for most of the island, as well as in Asia and all across the world, this has the potential to be an independent cooling solution. So anywhere you are in the world, you can cool with a few brush strokes on your roof. That's the hope, and we are committed here at Planck to providing an equitable solution, not only for us here who can afford it, but to people who it has the potential to really change their lives for the better and the quality of that life. So this is our team. We are very fortunate to have this diverse background team, and no fewer than 4 interns funded by MassCEC, including myself. I started as an intern and now came to lead engineer. We have a co-op student with us here today, Miko, and so just wanted to say thanks again to MassCEC for their continued support and funding, and please keep in touch, and we look forward to sharing more with you as we continue to commercialize.
Okay, so I should have to give an introduction about this one. So our next speaker will be Dr. Nadi Matadzavi. So he is associate teaching professor at the Department of Mechanical and Material Engineering at the WPI. Because he has a teaching assignment today, this afternoon, so he had to join this meeting, as you know, virtually, and that is his session of the class at 4 o'clock. So he joined the faculty at the WPI in January 2023 after a successful academic career of over 6 years at the Western New England University in Springfield, Massachusetts. He obtained his PhD in mechanical engineering from Michigan State University in 2014, specializing in thermofluid systems with a focus on transport phenomena in PEM fuel cells. Okay, Maddie?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So I want to discuss about enhancing clean hydrogen production efficiency. And obviously, thanks to MassCEC and Mass Ventures for funding this project under their Catalyst program. So, as you know, in bipartisan infrastructure law, there is a significant amount, over $60 billion for the Department of Energy And a good portion of that, around 10 billion of that, is specifically for clean hydrogen. So the Department of Energy is promoting clean hydrogen production, utilization, and etc. So it is predicted that clean hydrogen can reduce the emission approximately 10% by 2050 compared to 2005. So there's huge saving in emission if clean hydrogen can be implemented properly. So it is reported that by 2030 there will be 100,000 jobs in the hydrogen industry, and if the clean hydrogen is scaled globally, then the annual revenue is estimated to be $2.5 trillion. So all of these statistics are coming from a document called Department of Energy Clean Hydrogen Strategy and Roadmap. So it's mainly known as Roadmap in Department of Energy. Now I'm going to show you a chart. So this chart shows different methods of hydrogen production in 2022, 2 years ago. So the majority of hydrogen production that we have in the country, in the United States, is by reforming, and there is no carbon capture. So that means there will be some pollutions that are released to the atmosphere, which is not desired. Now, the Department of Energy is specifically interested in clean methods of hydrogen production, and specifically by electrolyzing water and by utilizing renewable energy and or nuclear energy. So basically the idea is if we have water, then we can electrolyze that, and the energy needed to do that job, if that energy is obtained from renewable energy or nuclear energy, then basically we are obtaining clean hydrogen without any carbon release. So right now, 2 years ago, the capacity was less than 2%, but the goal is to increase that to 50% by 2030. So the idea behind that is very simple. So let's say if we have water, and if we supply electricity to that water, we can electrolyze that into hydrogen and oxygen. But there is a problem here. So let's say this is an electrolyzer, and these are the flow channels. We are looking at the flow channels. Let's say in anode side, we are supplying water. So the blue side is the liquid water that we supply. And there will be some oxygen bubbles that form, and they sit on the surface of the electrode. So once those bubbles sit on the surface of the electrode, the problem will be that liquid water cannot touch the surface of the electrode, and because of that, the efficiency of electrolysis process decreases. So basically, managing those bubbles is very important. The higher the bubble coverage, the lower the efficiency. So there has been a study by your neighbor, MIT, Department of Mechanical Engineering, which was published in 2021, and they showed that as the bubble coverage on the surface of the electrode increases, we have more over potential. So over potential is not desired. That is pretty much the inefficiency in the system. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to see what are the methods that we can expedite that removal of bubble from the surface. In a former study, what we observed is when we have the opposite case, that is when we have the droplet in a shear gas flow, that droplet starts to oscillate. Okay, so there's a discussion why that oscillates. That can be a little bit more technical, so I'm not going to get into that. But the thing is, whenever we have a body of a liquid surrounded by gas, there is some oscillation. A similar thing may be observed in the case of electrolyzer. The reason I say may is because this is something that we are studying right now. So if we have a bubble and it exposed to shear liquid flow, if there is any oscillation, then we might be able to utilize that oscillation to get rid of the bubble. Keep in mind that the main goal is to remove the bubble from the surface of the electrode. So this is what we are working on. What we are currently working on is to learn about that bubble removal, what is the mechanism of bubble dynamics surrounded in shear liquid flow, and what are the techniques that we can utilize to get rid of that. So one idea that we had was if we can excite the bubble at its natural frequency, then technically that we can remove the bubble from the surface of the electrode. So right now there is a full-time PhD student that I'm advising, and she is working on this project, and we are in the phase of developing the transparent electrolyzer so we can visualize the bubble formation and transport within the electrode. And I hope that sometime soon I can present the result and show completely an improvement in the performance of the electrolyzer by implementing this technology. So there is a patent that we have filed, it's a provisional patent, and hopefully after that we can go for a utility patent once we have some good results from the performance of the electrolyzer. Again, I'm very thankful to the grant from MassCEC and Mass Venture to support this project. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer your questions.
Well, thanks, Maddie, for sharing your technology. And let's skip the question session. Okay, so thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
So what am I saying?
So as you already introduced, we are doing FEON energy here at Massachusetts. So what we are doing is batteries, of course, better batteries. And I don't think I need to introduce too much about batteries because it's everywhere, consumer electronics, of course, electric vehicles, and even some future markets, which is called electric aviations. So we are enabling all those sectors with our advanced batteries. So how we do this? We are actually focusing on one of the key components in the battery, which is called electrolyte. That is one of the materials, the key enabler of next generation batteries. The approach we took is pretty unique, which is focused on some new molecules to the electrolyte. So that's why we always call ourselves the pharmaceutical company in the battery field, because we are creating some new drugs to treat the disease of next generation batteries. And that's exactly what we are doing. And we are pioneering this field. We have several different product lines, but I will just pick one of them to introduce today. How we get here? So we started the research back to 2018 at Stanford. Of course, throughout my PhD, several iterations and generations of new technology. And because of how charming Massachusetts is, we moved all the way from West Coast, from California, all the way to here, and established the company in Q3 2022. And of course, got some non-dilutive funding and angel round. And of course, a big shout. Leslie is not here, but still a big shout out for MassCEC. We got the Catalyst grant in 2023 and successfully completed it. And throughout the whole year of 23, we of course shipped our samples to customers and of course continue to generate new molecules, new technologies for the company, and of course scale up. And earlier this year, we raised our seed round just for matching the innovate mass we just got. So again, a big shout out for MassCEC. But the most important thing is throughout the whole entire process, we are taking advantage of MassCEC internship program, and we are taking numerous of interns throughout the 2 years. So definitely appreciate this effort from MassCEC. The team-wise, co-founder and CEO is Zheng, my colleague back to Stanford time, and I'm the CTO and co-founder of the company. Zheng, my PhD advisor, is founding technology advisor. So this is our facility based in Woburn, and I already talked about all this progress, but we are trying to scale up and bring to a new space later this year. So hopefully we can scale up here at Massachusetts further. Back to the technology. Again, like I mentioned, we are focused on the electrolyte part of the battery, but we are trying to basically cover the whole range of next generation batteries with higher energy density. Basically, you can enable higher mission time or longer range for the EVs. But that's our value proposition. We are, in terms of commercial traction, like I mentioned, several different pipelines, both electrolyte and cells. Both pictures are our products, and we are engaging customers, receiving POs, and of course more deep commercial engagement with customers. Of course, we also, battery is a hot topic, and we are trying to utilize the IRA and try to see whether we can scale up here at the United States. So again, back to this picture. This is our product, high energy density, practical form factor real cell. We already tested the performance. You don't have to worry about the x-axis or y-axis, but in general, the ideal zone is, of course, further there. And compared to commercial ones, we are, of course, outperform. And also for the battery product, we received the certification. This is a pretty standard UN 38.3 so that we can ship the cell to our customers. And more importantly, we demoed some practical applications drawn as a really sneaky demo. Basically, compared to the commercial pack with the same weight, our pack can enable more than twice the flight time of the drones. And if you translate this into your EVs or phones or laptops, it's the same, 2 times the mission time or longer driving range. If you're interested to learn more, scan the barcode and visit our website. Thanks.
Okay, so this time, let me give an introduction. So Dr. Rajiv Shah, is the co-founder, CEO of Hydrogel. He recently completed a PhD in chemical engineering at MIT, and is currently an MBA candidate at MIT Sloan School of Management. And growing up in India, the country's textile capital, Rajiv developed an interest in health and water-related issues. As an undergraduate, he studied chemical engineering at IIT Bombay, graduating at the top of his class. At MIT, Rajiv has been awarded several prestigious fellowships. I may not read them, I should have studied. Well, so let's share the screen. Great.
Awesome. Thank you for the introduction. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Arjav. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Hydrogel, where we are enabling sustainable and cost-effective industrial purifications. I'm sure we've all been here. We've strained boiled pasta through these strainers. But imagine how you'd feel if you lose 50% of the boiled pasta every time you strain, and you could only use the strainer once. It would be terrible, right? Hopefully this is not happening to your pasta in the strainer, but this is unfortunately the reality for a lot of industrial separations today. Particularly for a lot of bio-based manufacturing processes, which have emerged as potential green solution for a lot of the products we use in our daily lives, including biopharmaceuticals, proteins, amino acids that are a part of our food and cosmetics, as well as other specialty chemicals. And one of the key challenges with these industries is the purifications, which have become increasingly difficult and expensive as we develop new products and processes. One of the key challenges here, like I mentioned, is high purification costs, which account for over 40 to 90% of the total manufacturing cost. And there's about a 30 to 60% of the valuable product that's lost in these purification processes. And there hasn't been any groundbreaking innovation in the past 20, 30 years in the field of downstream processing. And this is where Hydrogel can make an impact by enabling sustainable and cost-effective solutions. We develop these materials that are based on hydrogels, and if you don't know what a hydrogel is, think of jello, think of gelatin, or these boba bead-like materials that we have functionalized and decorated with various chemistries to evoke specific interactions with certain impurities in the broth, leaving behind the valuable product. And what's exciting is that you can remove multiple impurities using the same material, unlike a lot of state-of-the-art technologies like activated carbon, ion exchange resins, or other chromatography resins. Yep. And once you develop these boba bead-like particles using a one-step synthesis, you fill these up into a packed bed through which the product gets purer as it passes through. And what is interesting is our materials can be reused several times, which not only reduces the large amount of waste that are generated, but also can be a plug-in or a drop-in solution to the existing infrastructure, so using the same unit operations. So far, we've shown that we can reduce the purification costs by 30% and also the carbon footprint by over 97%. And the technology is protected by 3 pending patents at MIT. This is all not conceptual. We've moved on to testing these products with industries. We are working with a large South Korean food company called Zheng, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of. And we treated their amino acid stream, here you see the decolorization and removal of impurities, and did much better than the existing technologies that they used, but also do it in a way that's much more sustainable and cost effective. We have this aggressive plan to scale up the technology, and with the support of MassCEC Catalyst grant, we're hoping to move from developing a few kg of these materials in the lab per day to the next order of magnitude. And we already have a great deal of traction, not only from potential customers, but we were the winners of the Pillar VC Moonshot Prize this year, and also part of the Clean Tech Open, like Mayur mentioned. We're an incredible team of MIT researchers, engineers, and supported by a wonderful team of technical experts. Professor Doyle could not be here, unfortunately, but also from other executives who've actually scaled up and successfully exited companies in the past. We'd love to work with you if you know someone who would benefit from such a solution for purification of various biopharmaceutical or food products. Please do connect us. And if you share our vision and passion for a sustainable and cleaner future, please do work with us. Thank you.
Thanks, RJ, and also your water purification technology. And just want to let you know, so I'm also working on hydrogels at Northeastern, and also I published a few papers in the past few years on hydrogels for water desalination, purification but on desalination side. So also looking forward to some collaboration in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, our last speaker today, because there are two speakers who just emailed me this morning. Okay, because of the time conflict and also the urgent issue in the family, so they may not be able to come here to make it. So only 8 companies, the speakers, will present their technology today. So our last speaker today will be Dr. Amin Aspa Burujani. So he's the founder and the CEO of Helios Bio. He has 19 years of experience in chemical engineering, synthetic biology, metabolic engineering, biophysics, omics, and software development. So he received his bachelor degree in chemical engineering, has a master degree in biochemical engineering, and his PhD in chemical engineering. So he completed his postdoc work under the supervision of Professor Chris Wolk at MIT. He's also the co-inventor of RDS calculator, a highly popular design software that transformed synthetic biology. So he has recently been recognized by the Massachusetts Executive Office of Economic Development for his efforts in addressing climate crisis. Welcome, and
thanks everyone. My name is Amin. I'm the founder of Helios Bio. Helios Bio, we are developing a technology to upcycle organic waste into high-value chemicals. Today I'm going to just talk about the vision of the company. I'm not going into the details. So we all know the big elephant in the room, the petrochemical refinery industry. So why is it so successful? Two main reasons. Oil is very cheap and abundant, but the most important one is the oil has a very consistent chemical composition, regardless of where is it being extracted from. So it doesn't matter if it's coming from Middle East, Russia, Texas, even shale oil. It's all the same oil, which means that it makes the entire job of designing a biorefinery process a lot easier. Now imagine if the oil has a different consistency or composition. Now the entire petrochemical refineries in the US would not work with the oil that comes from Middle East. So that's a huge problem, and that also makes all the petrochemical products that comes from this process a lot more expensive. Which means that now for any processes that we are for any alternative process to these petroleum-based processes, consistency is the main factor. So now there has been a transition from petroleum-based products to bio-based products. We had the first generation biorefinery where fermentation was used to produce products, but the input to the fermentation was the sugar that comes from the sugarcane. This hasn't been very successful for two reasons. Sugar is expensive, And it also comes from the sugarcane, which means that if you want to produce these products at a very large scale, you have to cut a large portion of Amazon to plant the sugarcane to produce the sugar, to feed the microbes to produce the product. So it's not also very sustainable. So that's we are proposing the new or the second generation of biorefinery, where our input to the fermenters are the insect larvae. So that gives us two main advantages. One is that in the insects, they can eat all kinds of organic waste, and they have a very consistent chemical composition. So remember the consistency. Regardless of what they eat, could be the food waste, could be chicken manure, could be brewery waste. They all have the larvae has a very consistent chemical composition, and that's what we are feeding into our macros inside fermenter. But because also the insect larvae has all the components that we need for the macro needs for the growth, including proteins, fat, and carbon, they can also produce a lot of different chemicals with complex chemistries, which also allows us to expand the portfolio of the product that we can produce. The second problem that you're solving is the food and agricultural system in general. As you know, about 40% of the food that you're producing is wasted globally. And because there is no profitable way to recycle them, about 30% of that goes to the landfill. So that's about 30 million tons of waste just in the US that goes to the landfill, which generates a lot of CO2 emissions. The second and more hidden problem is that about 10% of the agricultural production globally is used as the raw material for chemical production. And that's enough to feed all the 800 million hungry people in the world. So again, what we are doing is we are shifting the paradigm, and instead of using the agricultural product for the chemical production, we're using the food and organic waste as the input. And all we do is we feed the waste to the insects, and then we collect the larvae and feed them to microbes, and the microbes produce the product for us. So 3 benefits for it: we are reducing greenhouse gas emissions, we are actually dedicating more cropland for food production, and we are also, because we are becoming profitable, we can escape the recycling process. So the insects will homogenize the waste for us, and the microbes are the main workers for us. But the problem is that there are no microbes that currently can grow on the insects, so that's the core of our technology. We are using synthetic biology to reverse engineer these microbes to make them compatible with the insects. So that's the core of the technology. This hasn't been done before. It's a very novel process, but that's our secret sauce. So essentially, with this technology, we can capture, we can produce any chemical that is currently being produced through fermentation. The market worth $500 billion. We can produce biofuels, biopolymers, specialty chemicals, and it's basically what we do is we are engineering a large library of microbes where all of them consume the insects, but each produce the unique chemicals. So finally, like our long-term goal is to capture about 4% of the biomanufacturing industry, which is about 2 million tons of product that we can produce by 2050. And to get to that scale, we will need to upcycle 19 million tons of organic waste. So that's 3 times more than all the landfills waste in the US, and it's about 10% of the global waste. And we are saving about 700 million tons of CO2 emissions per year when we get to that scale. So we believe that we can make this a reality. I have 18 years of experience in chemical engineering and synthetic biology, and I have a long list of mentors and advisors with more than 100 years of experience in industry and academia. Our journey started about 2 years ago. We have been part of several incubators and accelerator programs, including Nucleate and recently MassCEC Switzerland. I'm also part of both MIT and Harvard entrepreneurship ecosystem. I've been part of MIT Venture Mentoring Program and Harvard Columbus Circle. And we recently won the MassCEC Catalyst grant, so it would be very instrumental for us to prove the concept and move forward with our commercialization. So we are very grateful to MassCEC and MassVenture. And thank you so much for that.
Well, so thanks everyone for coming today. Just allow me a few minutes. As I'm downloading the PowerPoint slides. And so sorry for running late to this event. I'm so happy to see all of you to stay till the end. And I'm so happy, we do share the common goals, common interests. And also, I believe most of us are from academia. Okay, I mean, I see the people from MIT, okay, Northeastern, WPI, and also other universities. And also that's why I see, okay, the power, okay, from academia, and then actually, we are doing something to translate the technology out of the lab, okay, to benefit actually, the big industry. Okay, well, so I may not take too much time today, so I will give the last few minutes, okay, the position to David, and you can make closing remark. That's great. Finally,
All right.
I'm used to it.
Okay, sure.
Thanks for the screen.
All right. Well, I get to share a couple of screen. I'll make this really fast because really the closing remarks are that all of everything that we heard today, I was listening to it from the perspective of how could we incorporate that in a meaningful way, in a demonstration way on our campus. I'm a little selfish in that way. And I think that you saw with Planck Energy, we do have capacity. Universities are not just a place where you come up with your ideas and then kind of push out. Universities really should be the places where you can demonstrate, you can prove, use the campuses as proof of concept. If that doesn't work at your own campus, then please come and talk to us because we'd love to, absorb CO2 and see what we can do. Because at a university campus, it's not just what you're proving the concept, it's also part of the education too. Just think of how many people will be inspired when they see, a different approach to how you create chemicals using, biology, letting nature do what nature does best, or how we take something that's a problem and turn it into part of the solution. So I'll just show these since we have it here. If you're my age, I think many of you may be younger than me. This is what I grew up with. I had a Discman. I had, this is my first computer. The hard drive was outside of the computer. You had to put a little floppy disk in. Right? This is not that long ago. This is in one lifespan. And so anyone that you're talking to at the university level, they're going to be seeing this kind of step change as they go forward. Fortunately, we don't have beepers anymore. This is the slide I was telling you about in terms, it's a couple of years old right now, but you could see that it really is a complete step change in terms of what's available today compared to what was just a few years ago. So the couple of things that I just wanted to really emphasize, I've mentioned that our entire economy is going to be changing and transforming because we are going to be seeing carbon as a problem. And we're going to be incorporating that into our economic models. This is the part that I forgot. Circular economy, I think this is something that's very important, and I think that every single one of your startups is thinking about the solutions, but what I would suggest is that we need to start thinking about the end of life. So if you have something and you're selling to an end user, my prediction is that within 5 to 10 years, you will also be responsible for taking that back when it's done. Right now, we don't have that obligation. As soon as you sell it to someone else, it's not your problem anymore. But if you have something that has toxic chemicals or is very difficult to recycle, that's going to be your problem. So let's start thinking about that today. We talked about the rise of AI, and then just in terms of the energy markets, this is what I see happening is that the energy markets are going to be much more democratized. Is what I'm saying. Is that there'll be a blurring of a producer of energy and a consumer of energy. It's all going to be mixed together. If many of you are probably familiar with terms called virtual power plants. That's basically when everybody's producing just a little bit, and then because of AI, we're able to aggregate it and put it in. And the electricity markets look much more like a two-way flow of energy back and forth. And of course, that means that everything that we have from our electric vehicles, from the buildings, the district systems, they're all part of this two-way flow. All right, so that's, I got to show my slides, thank you for that. But thank you, all of you, for sharing your products and your vision for the future. And like I said before, please look to your campuses or look to a campus as a home for demonstrating. And if there's anything that we can do at Northeastern, please let us know. We would love to be able to use our campuses as living labs to demonstrate all this really great, innovative technology. Thank you all. Thanks.
thank you so much, David. And also, like Russ, okay, Gary and I, would like to thank everyone, okay, for coming today and also presenting your technology and also actually enjoying it on the live.